Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, today we are going to study the theme 2 of class 12 history, that is kings, farmers and towns. So this chapter in short is about the political and administrative situation in the 600 BCE to 600 CE approximately. So, today we are going to cover the very short question, mainly the one markers of this chapter that can be appeared in the board exams. So let us start. So as we all know that the pictures, the sources are very important in any chapter if you talk about of any subject. So similarly, this is an inscription of Sanchi in that is in Madhya Pradesh of the 2nd century BC. So it is also an important, but as we are talking of the MCQs, and let us go on to the MCQs. So as you can see, this box in the grayish color, here we have the main 3 MCQs. First, that what was the Vedic period? So the Vedic period was between 1000 BCE to 1500 BCE. It is believed that in this period, Rig Veda, Mahabharata, and Ramayana was written or composed by the people living along the Indus. Here you can find the question and the answer both. Now, the second we have is what are megaliths? Now, the making of elaborate structures is known as megaliths that emerged in the central and south India from the first millennium. This is the definition of megaliths. Now, what is the major point in early Indian history and how it is a major point? So for this answer, you will be seeing the paragraph number 3. In this, you will find that the 6th century BC is often regarded as a major turning point in early Indian history. We saw the emergence of early states, empires, and kingdoms, and the agricultural production was organized, and simultaneously, new towns appeared almost throughout the subcontinent. So, now as we have done the 3, now let us continue with the first topic. So, here we have the first MCQ from here is about James Prinsep itself, that who was the officer who deciphered Brahmi and Kharosthi. James Prinsep, an officer in the East India Company, deciphered Brahmi and Kharosthi, 2 scripts used in the earliest inscriptions and coins of India. So now going forward, just keep in mind that you have to write as much as the question has asked you to. Do not write extra, do not write less than it. Name a few important places where people settled down in a large number in the ancient time. So here we will have from the second topic, the answer is here, Vajji, Magda, Kosala, Kuru, Panchala, Gandhara, Avanti, frequently. These were amongst the most important Mahajanpadas. Now next, define Sanghas. Now here you can find about Sanghas and Ghanas. So while most Mahajanpadas were ruled by the kings, some known as Ghanas or Sanghas were oligarchies where power was shared by a number of men, often collectively called Rajas. Example, Mahavira and Buddha were related to such Ghanas. So this is a very good example if you want to give, but if it is not asked, that you don't need to give an example, you just need to define the Sanghas. So what you will write is some Mahajanpadas were known as Ghanas and or Sanghas, which were oligarchies where power was shared by a number of men collectively called as Rajas. Till this you will write. Now, going forward, we have that name an important feature of inscription. It is also an important, you can say, point. The here you will may here you may write that inscriptions are virtually permanent record, some of which carry dates. So what are inscriptions generally? They are the permanent record, and which are, and some inscriptions have the basis of paleography. Now, you will be thinking, what is paleography? Now, for this answer, I think you may need to go back on this um, source, inscriptions. In this, you will find here paleography. See, it is a style of writing with a fair amount of precision. So here you may find this question and the answer. So from here you can note the sources are also an important basis of MCQs. So now, what were Dharma Sutras is the next question, which is from the next page here. So here we have what was Dharma Sutras. It is also an important line that because Dharma Sutras are one of the important questions that are asked in the CBSE boards. The Dharma Sutras, when Brahmins began composing a Sanskrit text, which are known as Dharma Sutras or Shastras, these laid down the norms for the rulers who were ideally expected to be Kshatriyas. Now, here in this chapter, you are just introduced with this term Kshatriyas. But when you will read the third chapter, you will learn about more them, that why only Kshatriyas, what were the features of them, what were the works they were doing. So till then you can just write that they were Sanskrit text in which there were norms that were laid down for the rulers by the Brahmins in, now in which century? In the 6th century. And the rulers ideally expected to be Kshatriyas. This is the correct answer for this. Now, next, name some ambitious rulers of Magadha. It is also an important point or question. Here you may find the answer that Bimbisara, Jata Sattu, and Mahapadma Nanda are the best known, and their policies were implemented by the ministers. Now, next question is, in Magadha, name any two important cities. Important cities, if we talk about, means the capital. So first is Rajagaha, and second you will note is Pataliputra. Okay, so we may write the answer like this. If it comes in like 1 marks, well, first capital of Magadha was Rajagaha, and the second capital of Magadha was changed in the 4th century, that became Patliputra, that was present day Patna. Okay, so now next, now there's a question that why these walls were built. This question can be asked. It is a very easy answer that these walls were built for a sense of protection, to protect the another kingdom. Okay, now we have the next topic, that is the third topic, an early empire. In this we have a lot of MCQs. We can be asked to that who founded the empire, in which year this empire was founded. So the answers for this all are like Chandragupta Maurya founded this empire in 321 BCE, and its control extended to from Afghanistan to Kalinga, that is present day Odisha, that was conquered by Ashoka, after which he turned into Dhamma Mahamata, not a Dhamma Mahamata, but yes, Priposh, but not a Dhamma Mahamata, but yes, propagationist of Buddhism, Now, we have that this empire lasted till 185 BC is also important to note. And who invent or who established or who wrote Arthashastra? It was Kautilya. Who was Kautilya? Kautilya was the minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Then we have that how we know about Maurya, then about from the Buddhist, Jainas, and Puranic literature we know about Mauryas. Okay, now the next question can be asked that how the Ashoka became the first ruler or who inscribed the messages to his subjects. He became the first ruler as he inscribed the subjects or he inscribed the messages to his subjects on the natural rocks or the polished pillars, and he used the inscription to proclaim what he understood to be Dhamma. So it is also very important to know. Now we are continuing to the next here. Which were the five major political centers of the empire? It was Taxila, Ujjaini, Tosali, Suvarnagri, and the capital itself, that was Patliputra. I know it was too fast, so ignoring it. So, which language was at peak at that time? This is also an important question. So the answer will be Brahmi. Script was very important at that time. Now we have that who were Dhamma Mahamata in this. Who were Dhamma Mahamata and how many committees? This is also an important question, that how many committees were issued or mentioned by Megasthenes. So there were 6 committees. Now where you can find this answer is here. The Megasthenes mentions a committee with the 6 subcommittees for coordinating military activity. So, and the next question is, what are the Mahamata? If you remember, you have read this concept in the chapter in the class 6 of your chapter number 2. If you want to get a detailed prescription about this, so you can just read the chapter number 2 of your class 6th book. It will tell you very precisely that what was Dhamma Mahamata, because we have the whole chapter on the Mauryas. Now we have a very important question. I'm telling you, it is very important, that why Mauryan Empire was regarded as the major landmark. This is a very important question. You may find this here. Mauryan Empire was regarded as a major landmark. This can be a question form. You must be told to explain this line. So here you will explain the whole importance of the Mauryan Empire. You can also tell that who founded it, when it was founded, when it ended, who was Chanakya. You can tell this, but the main points it will include that of the archaeological finds, that the importance of the Mauryan Empire was that some of the archaeological finds associated with the Mauryas, including stones, culture, were considered to be examples of the spectacular art typical of the empire. So it is not surprising that nationalist leaders in the 20th century regarded him as an inspiring figure. Many of the historians found the method of on Ashoka's inscription very different from the most of other rulers. Then this empire lasted for 150 years, and next you can write that here you from here now you will write that it was a very vast span. And now you may also be asked for the reasons of its decline. So mainly every empire has some common reasons for its decline. First, in this, we have that it did not encompass the entire subcontinent, the control was not uniform, and new chiefdoms and kingdoms emerged. These are the very basics one. Now, we have the next is Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. They're also very important. It can be asked that who were Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas and where they were situated. So they were situated in Tamilakam. It was an ancient Tamil country which included parts of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, in addition to in addition to Tamil Nadu, as told before, and these kingdoms were very stable and prosperous. So basically this was Tamilakam. Here you can see in this. Um, Here were Cheras at the side of Kerala in today's world, and here is Pandyas at the side of Tamil Nadu, and upper part is Cholas at the side of, you can say, um, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, let's continue to our chapter. So from here we have the question that who were chiefs and chiefdoms. So it is just one marker question. So you can be saying that a chief is a powerful man whose position may or may not be hereditary. Okay, he derives supports from his kin flock. This is enough. And what was chiefdom? So generally there are no regular armies and officials and chiefdoms, and this can be written for the chief and chieftains. Now the main question will be arising is from this: divine kings. What do you mean by divine kings? How did the king in old or ancient time enhance their divinity? Now this is not an MCQ. It is a 3-marker question that can be asked from here. But yes, a MCQ can be arised. So Kushanas, here we are being told with Kushanas and Gupta Empire. So Kushanas were ruling from the 1st century BCE to the 1st century CE, and they ruled over a vast kingdom extending from Central Asia to Northwest India, and they have their statue in Mat near Mathura. Okay, then many Kushan ruler also adopted the title of Devaputra. This is very important. This line is very important, that who were the kings who adopted the title of Devaputra and from where they got inspired. So from the Chinese ruler who called themselves sons of heaven. So now we have next is here the Gupta ruler. The Gupta ruler, main thing which you need to note it in the Guptas is about Prashastis and the Samantas. What was the work of Samantas? Who were Samantas? And the Prashastis. Mainly we have is the Prayag Prashasti, if you can see here. Also known as Allahabad Pillar Inscription. This was composed in Sanskrit by Harisena, the court poet of Samudragupta. This, okay, if the separate question comes, then you have to write this, and then you have to write this whole. And if the just has been come like tell us about the divine kings of Guptas, then you can just tell, give a hint about the Samantas, and then you can just continue with the Prayag Prashasti. So it will make your 3 marks answer. Now, the next question here we have is, how did historians came to know about the perceptions of kings into the minds of the subject? This is an important question here. Yeah. So in this, we have that by the Panchatantra, by Jatakas, right? And this Gandatindu Jataka is very important. So here you can see that again the 3 points are being made. So earlier there was a problem to examine the perception of kings in the minds of subjects because there were no sources about this. But now historians examine the stories such as Jataka and Panchatantra. These stories, Jataka, were written in Pali around the middle of 1st millennium CE, we can say. And one story known as Ganda Tindu Jataka, please note it down, describes a plight of the subjects of a wicked king. This story indicates a relationship between a king and his subjects. Also tell us what were the people's thought when the government demanded high tax. Peasants particularly found such demands oppressive and escaped into forest as an option. Here you can see this thing. Now this we can see next question is again it is a 3 marker, you can say, that what were the strategies that were for increasing production. So in this we have main, if I tell you, is plugging, Okay, then we have uh, use of spade. Here you can see it. Okay, I will tell you just in see here. Hoe agriculture is one of important point, and then we have increase use of irrigation through wells and canals. It is important to note wells and canals because now they were less common. Canals were less commonly used. So in some parts of Ganga Valley, production of paddy was dramatically increased by the introduction of transplantation. And what do you mean by transplantation is kind of important. Just you have to keep in that mind that what is transplantation. It is a very a basic term. The transplantation is used for the paddy cultivation in areas where water is plentiful. So is it clear? Now, one more important question is who were latters? The latters, usually powerful men, including king, who often recorded such activities in the inscription. Which activities? Activities of that is the production increasing and how was the agriculture going, means about the political life of a person. Now, we have the next question that what was it Gahapati, right? Gahapati is a owner, master, or a head who exercise control over their children, slaves, and workers. This is a very common answer you may give. But if I tell you, so you can also just write that this was a name given or used in Pali text to designate the second and the third category. Now, where you can find this is, I will tell you. Here you can find this term here. Okay, this is also a correct definition. If you write this two and if you write this two, both are correct. Now, who were the powerful figures who exercised control over the cultivators? Now we have large landowners and village man. This is very common. Now here you have been given some names. Large landowners, Vellad, Plowman, Uzwar, and slaves or Adimai. These names are in Tamil. So you can see Tamil language was very prominent at these days. Now, might be there is a question in your heads that why these different names were used for landowners, slaves, and plowman. So, these names were used on the basis of differential access to land, labor, and some of the new technologies, and it was also to identify the position of the person. Okay, now, uh, now we have the next thing here. Prabhavati Gupta, this whole paragraph, if I tell you, is very important as Prabhavati Gupta is most important in the held. Sorry for the disturbance. So here we have that Prabhavati Gupta was the daughter of Chandragupta too. She was married into Vakatas who were powerful in Deccan. Now, what is a Deccan? Deccan, if you will see, is the southern part. Here, like this is India. I'm very poor at drawing. So this part is known as the Deccan part. Okay, this Deccan part, the Deccan plateaus, if you know, right? So now, as we were continuing that here, that she had access to land because she was a queen and her situation was therefore exceptional. Now we have about inscription. That what were the land grant inscription? So there was some inscription that were given to Donis that gives us the idea about the rural population. Okay, then these land grants provide information into the relationship between the cultivator and the state. Now, here one more important question here you can see is here that why land grants were necessary. So the points you may have is to extend agriculture is a very main point you may have here, that For land grant, for extending agriculture, land grants were considered necessary. Now, the next point, if we consider, I'm not sure about it, but yes, you can, I think, write this point that to project themselves as a Superman, if you can see here. Okay. Now, here's also an important question that what was Aghara? It was a land granted to a Brahmin, which were usually exempted from paying taxes. Now, fine pottery bowl dishes were known as Northern Black, where here you can see in the next year. Okay. Now, next we have is the history of Patliputra is very important, as here a name has been used. The first line is very important. Each city had a history of its own. Um, okay, then if we see the important points in this particular um, what we say source. So we have that in the 5th century, um, the Magadhan ruler decided to shift their capital from Rajaka and renamed it. By the 4th century, the capital of Mauryan and one of the largest cities in Asia. Subsequently, its importance apparently declined, and when the Chinese pilgrim Zhuangzang, which I was talking about, visited it in the 7th century CE. So this whole is important. Please note it down if you can. So let us just get back to, yeah. So I was here that how the people traded in the subcontinent and beyond. So for this, you can, I think I just reached very down and I have to be here. Just let, okay. Yes, this was the thing. So in this, we have that the successful merchant designated as Masatwan here. It is a very important term. In Tamil and cities and Satvanas in Prakrit become enormously rich, and people travel a long distance for training. It might take 2 months or 2 days. See, I'm telling you, even the 3 markers, so I'm sorry for that, who came for only 1 markers question, but it is for your, benefit only. So let us continue. And also, you can also write one more point in this. I just forgot where it was. Just a second. Yeah, here that from how they traded mainly through sea, over routes, or you can see through the roads. And rulers often attempted to control these roads by offering protection for a price. And the next we have is, yeah, peripellas. What is peripellas? And meaning sailing around. And Irtheon was a Greek word for the Red Sea, which is also important. Now, now we have a very important starting, that is coins and kings. It is very important. The whole paragraph I can't mark, I know, but it is very important. So I just let me just mark that what box is very important for you. This box, if you can see, is very important for you. That who, just a second, the earliest coins were minted and were the punch marked coins. This is important. Now where it is, just a second. See, here it is. Earliest to be minted were the punch marked coins, and then we have the next coins is for the first coin to bear the names of kings were those issued by Indo-Greeks. Now, by the Kushanas, it was the first gold coin, and the coins which were there were some coins also that were issued by the tribal republics, that were the Yodhyas of Punjab and Haryana. This you can see here, the 1st century. Hordes of then the first Lots of Roman coin has been found from South India. Here you can see in this paragraph. What is numismatic? It is a study of a coin that includes visual elements. Now, continuing, which was the most spectacular coin? So, gold coin, especially, it was of the Gupta ruler. You also have to know that the tribal republics mainly issued the copper coins, not the gold coins. Okay. Um, now we have now side by side you can also watch the images. Here you can see this is the punch marked coin, and on which the seals have been punch marked as symbols. Okay, this is a copper coin. This is a gold, the purest gold we see in the ancient history of India. Now here we have the back to basics, the last topic at last. So here we don't have that much to be noted. Just is that the Devanagari is a script that is used to write Hindi. Sorry. Then we have that this it was after the decades of painstaking investigation by several epigraphers that James Prinsep was able to decipher Ashoka Brahmi in 1838. This is the important thing. And then um, here we have that Ashoka claims that here Ashoka is mentioned in some of the inscription. After examining these inscription, you also may have noticed that Ashoka claims that earlier ruler had no arrangement to receive reports. This is an important line. Then we have order of the king. This is about the epigraphist. Now this is a coin of Indo-Greek king. Again, we can see the kings which are issued in the on the coin. Now we have one last important question, that is why or what is the limitation of inscriptional evidence? Why is there any limitation? What are the steps that are being done for erasing these limitations? Or we can see that why epigraphy does not alone provide the understanding of political history. So the answer is here only. I'm just marking the points just so just pay attention to this. Later faintly engraved. That's the first point. Then inscription may be damaged is the second point. Then not all decipher. This is the third point. And fourth point can be the they are juxtaposed with other perspective. This can be the fourth point. So hence we complete the chapter, which was the chapter number 2. The whole chapter we completed by doing all the question, approx all the questions. So hope you like this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And let's meet you in the next video.